The bank and money through the eyes of a millionaire. Let me tell you something. Not 50 years ago, not that far back really, my bank account was in the negative too. A $4 coffee. It drained the account. The bank took $35. That $35 back then was what I spent in a whole day. Some of you listening will know exactly what I mean. Some of you won't. Both are fine. But let me say this, I never forgot that feeling of being broke. I'm not supposed to either. When you're in the negative, people change their faces when they look at you. The teller's face, the tone of the voice on the phone, the way you're treated when you walk into a branch. Nobody treats you badly, actually. They do something worse. They don't see you. I called that bank. Hold music played. An automated voice started talking. Fees cannot be reversed at this time. I asked for a manager. Someone will call you back within 48 hours. Nobody called back. Now, when I have a problem, the phone picks up on the second ring. No hold music, no automated voice, no script. Your issue has been resolved, it says in the email. Same bank, same me, different time. When you have $200, 20 hours of overtime. I pulled the account back into the positive. Nobody congratulated me. The bank didn't either, but for a different reason. The bank still didn't see me. The maintenance fee hit again. $12. Quietly, no explanation. Because the system doesn't explain, the system executes. I applied for a credit card. They offered me a secured one. I would give them my own money, borrow my own money back, and pay 24% interest for the privilege. I read the offer twice. I declined. Tuesday morning, my tire blew. I took the bus to work 3 hours late. I didn't get fired. My manager just looked at me a little longer than usual. I walked into the branch. The banker was smiling and talking to the customer in front of me, asking about their kids. When it was my turn, the smile changed. Instantly became professional, trained. She processed my request in 40 seconds, didn't ask if there was anything else, didn't say have a nice day, didn't smile. Turned to the next person, the smile came back. Walking to the door, I felt something I could never quite name. I wasn't refused, I wasn't insulted. I was moved through like luggage on a conveyor belt. When you have $2,000, something changed. Not in my account. In the way the bank looked at me. My paycheck started coming in regularly every 2 weeks, predictable. The system saw this and automatically waived the maintenance fee. The first time it happened, I checked 3 times. That fee that had drained my account for years had suddenly stopped existing. I hadn't changed. The number in my bank account had changed. Envelopes started arriving, with my name printed in metallic ink. Pre-approved. The institution that rejected me 8 months ago was now reaching out to me, applied for credit, approved in 90 seconds. It felt strange. When you walk into the branch, the teller said good morning before you even reach the counter. Not the smile she gives the wealthy customer. Not the silence she gave me at $200 either. Something in between. Recognition without warmth, service without effort. The place where most people live. You weren't invisible anymore. You weren't respected either. You were profitable. When you have $15,000. One morning I woke up and my credit limit had changed. Without asking. Without applying. The bank had decided to give me more rope. The phone rang, not automated, a person. The bank had assigned me a dedicated person. He said his name twice, gave me his direct line, asked about my goals, my plans, my savings. The institution that put me on hold for 40 minutes at $200 had called me first thing on a Tuesday morning. My loan rate dropped. I bought a used car. The rate that would have been 11% at $2,000 was 6.8% at $15,000. The price of money got cheaper. I didn't negotiate. I just stopped being a risk. I saw a $32 fee on my statement, emailed my banker. 3 hours later, it was reversed. No form, no script. Just a reply saying your issue has been resolved. And that day, I started to understand some things. The bank hadn't treated me badly because I had no money. It was just indifferent. And indifference at scale looks exactly like cruelty. When you have $80,000, preferred client, they said. It was written on the account statement. On the welcome screen when I logged in, on the email signature of the man who handled my account. My banker had become a real person now, someone named David. He knew I had a sister in Chicago because I'd mentioned it once 9 months ago. He emailed on my birthday, not automated, handwritten. That detail wasn't an accident. The bank taught him to remember small things because small things keep accounts. When I walked into the branch, someone stood up to greet me, not the teller, someone with a nameplate in an office. They guided me past the rope line where everyone else was waiting. At $200, I was inside that rope line too. I wasn't even aware it existed because I was standing inside it. A competitor bank called, offered to match my rates. I mentioned it to Jasmine. He called back within an hour with a counteroffer. The institution that had ignored me for years was now competing to keep me. When you have $500,000, the bank stopped being a place I visited. It became a service that came to me. Jasmine wasn't emailing anymore. Jasmine was calling. And when he called, he wasn't asking how I was. He was asking when I'd like to meet his colleague who handles wealth management. The colleague came to my office, not the other way around. He brought printed reports in a leather folder. We talked for 2 hours. Toward the end, he didn't try to sell me anything. He just left his card and said he'd send a follow-up email. The sale had already happened. I just hadn't noticed. I wasn't being offered products anymore. I was being consulted. The difference matters. A product is something the bank wants you to buy. A consultation is something the bank wants you to need, and needing them is worth far more over time than buying from them once. The bank wasn't saving money for me anymore. It was protecting me. When you have $5 million, private banking. Sounds the same as wealth management, but it isn't. Wealth management is a service. Private banking is a relationship, and relationships don't follow rules. They negotiate them. My banker managed fewer than 20 accounts. Mine was one of them. He knew my children's names, my family's names. He knew about the foundation idea I'd mentioned over coffee last March. My mortgage rate wasn't published, it was negotiated. The investment minimum on a private deal was waived because the relationship justified it. I walked into a branch I'd never been to. They knew my name before I signed anything, not because I was famous, because of my position. I existed in a database that prioritized me before I even asked. We sat in a conference room with no logo on the door. The table was one piece of wood. The deal being discussed was a private investment that wouldn't appear on any prospectus. That room existed because clients like me existed. That room only opened when the relationship justified it. When you have $25 million, I didn't have a banker anymore. I had a relationship. Losing me was a line item in someone's performance review. The institution wasn't competing to keep me. The institution was organizing itself around not losing me. 3 people inside the bank existed partly because of my account. They didn't know that. I didn't either. But the math was real. The offers weren't from a menu, not from a brochure. They were sentences written for one client. Loan interest was negotiated over the phone. Investment terms were drafted around my timeline. At $25 million, I wasn't applying for things anymore. Things were applying for me. But the real shift wasn't access. It was influence. The bank wasn't just serving me anymore. It was consulting me. The chief investment officer was asking my opinion on emerging markets. The head of private banking was flying out to ask what kind of products their next tier of clients should expect. I was shaping the institution that had once charged me $35 for being broke. Right now, somewhere, someone is looking at their screen. There's a minus sign in front of their balance. They overdrafted by $4. They're trying to call. Hold music is playing. A voice answers, reads from a script. Fees cannot be reversed at this time. They don't know yet. The system isn't broken. The system is working exactly the way it was built to. The same institution that will one day fly out to ask their opinion on emerging markets is currently charging them for not having enough. You are the same person at every balance. The bank just decides who you are based on what's next to your name. The bank doesn't change at every level. The bank reveals what it always was. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment.